Hey there, my name is Caleb with Family Christian Doors, and welcome to episode 3 of our Meet the Team series. This week we're sitting with Vinny, who's the operations manager. He's been with the company for 11 years. That's over a decade of serving you and over a decade of being an essential part to our day-to-day operations here at Family Christian Doors. Vinny oversees everything from technicians and making sure they have the proper parts to best serve you, to the dispatching room and making sure we're picking up those calls and getting to your home as quick as possible. Vinny oversaw me and was my manager for the first few years I was with the company, and I'm so grateful to have been under his leadership and his mentorship, and I've learned a lot of what I know from him. So without further ado, here's a conversation with me and Vinny. So Vinny, thank you for joining me today. As you know, we've been doing the Meet the Team series, and we've had a couple of people on before you, but I've been really excited to get you in on this because the previous ones are all workers that are out in the field, and you're more hands-on here on the inside.
Well, thank you.
So for starters, why don't you tell everyone what you do here at FCD?
Well, my name is Vinny. I'm the operations manager here at Family Christian Doors. I handle pretty much the entire day-to-day operations of the company, from dispatching to making sure technicians handle what they need to handle, part up, all the way through to making sure our customers are happy on the end, and that, you know, payments and accounts receivable, pretty much a little bit of everything.
Absolutely. I got to work hand in hand with you for my first few years being here at FCD. You were the one that oversaw me, so I definitely learned a lot of what I know from your leadership. So because I have been here, I'm coming up on 6 years, how long have you been with the company?
This is my 11th year.
Over a decade. Golly. So what does your journey kind of look like with Family Christian Doors? Like, where did you start, and how did you kind of build up to where you're at now?
So I started just off of a post on a job website board, and they were looking for a call dispatch person, and I've worked in the dispatch field in regards to mainly automotive dispatch, like roadside assistance, things like that. And I just came to Texas, and I thought, why not apply? Applied, and I started off answering the phones. Came in, sat down, just like any other person when you call in here and call in, I was that person. I answered as many phone calls as I could and slowly worked my way up to the position I'm at now.
Fantastic. Yeah, we all start somewhere. We all
right.
oftentimes start there.
Right, and people forget, like, you know, even when people work at McDonald's, you hear the story is, I started off as a teller, and nobody believes that.
Yeah.
Well, it does happen.
Yeah, 100%. So, with your experience here, and with everything that you've kind of gone through, you've kind of seen it all from your perspective.
I have.
The good and the bad. So, if you could pick one thing about your job now that you love the most, what would it be and why?
I think the thing I like or love the most about my job is just the interactions I get to have with people from all different walks of life every single day.
Yeah.
Whether that's the employees that walk in every single day and work for us, or the customers that buy our products, or vendors that we get our products from.
Yeah.
They're all people that you get to interact with, and they all have their own stories, and it's just nice being able to help people when they need it, and have that assistance to them when their garage door is broken. But at the same time, also having the same thing for our vendors and our employees, and just getting to know them on a personal level, because they all have their own story. So
yeah, it's definitely a great opportunity to connect with the people that are on the
Absolutely.
other end, and that's kind of one of our big goals here at Family Christian Doors. Is it's not just about forming a customer or them being a number. It's about the long-term relationship that we can have with the customers, and we want to be involved in their story in some way.
Right.
So, with you being manager of operations, and you kind of oversee not only the operations but the people that are in there, what would you say your main mission is in your position? Like, what do you strive to do?
So one thing that I've seen, and this is from experience, is in regards to transparency in business in general, is serving the community in a way that is honest, is clear, gives them options, and doesn't take advantage or use that position that we've been given to help someone to monetarily take whatever we need.
Yeah.
We try to make sure that we're transparent in that we're very upfront in our pricing. We try to make sure we're clear and concise in, communicating that with the customer. And just treating people how you would want to be treated.
Yeah.
That's something I think we forget in customer service industries a lot, is how would you want to be treated when that person walked up and talked to you? I would want to be treated with care, respect, and a little bit of empathy for my situation to feel comfortable with who I'm trusting to come out to my home and repair the biggest opening on my home.
Yeah.
And to make sure it works on a daily basis.
I think that's
because more people use it than their front door.
Yeah.
And people forget that. So all of a sudden you come home, you hit your button, your garage door does open, you're like, what do I do?
You panic, honestly, and more times than not, you'll panic for a second.
Yeah, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then you try to go, you go to use your front door, and you forget, I didn't take my keys.
Yeah.
And now you go, well, what do I do?
Yeah. How am I going to get into my home?
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't think about it, and it's sometimes it becomes, you get so used to using something that until it breaks, you don't think about it. And that's why we're here, is when it breaks, think about us, and we're always going to come out and help you. So.
100%. I think, too, one of the things that I learned from being in the call room for so long is that our job is obviously to serve the customer, but like you said, like they call in panicked, or they don't know what's going on, and so it's up to us to kind of de-escalate the situation and make them feel like they can trust us in order for us to come
have
out
a little
there.
bit of empathy.
Exactly right. And like you said, it is something that isn't as common nowadays when you deal with customer service. I know personally I've had to deal with situations, and the person on the other end couldn't care less about what's going on, and they really can't wait to get off the line, and it shows. But with us here, we take the time to sit and listen to the customer and try to find a solution for them. And if we can't find it for them on our end, we get somebody out there that can.
Right.
And that's our main goal. Kind of going back into what we were talking about in the beginning of the conversation, when you were first starting at this job, did you think that you would get to where you are now?
So that's a good question. I don't think that I would assume where I am now when I started would be where I am now.
Yeah.
Whenever you take a new job, especially when you don't know the people that you get there yet, you assume, like, this is a job to get me by, right? Once I got here and I got into my position and I started to learn the people that were around me and the leadership that were around me, and I met Mr. Hendricks, the owner of the company, you start to learn about the people and what they have invested in it, and what their goals are, and you start to believe you start to see more of the picture, and that really started to make me see that, hey, this is a good company, we're doing good things, we're trying to grow, we're trying to reach more people in our community, and in the DFW Metroplex. We're not focused on, going to other states, going to other cities, going to other places, and worrying about all these things. We want to take care of the people we can take care of here. Mm-hmm. And based on those people, I saw something that made me say, hey, this is a place that I can support, I could be a part of, I feel valued at. And the biggest thing is I see them treating people with respect and honesty that I haven't seen in a lot of quote-unquote repair companies before.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in our industry, just in any industry that comes out to your home. Some things I didn't know when I came here, I wasn't even a homeowner. And I became a homeowner here. And having people come out to my home, I realized that some people don't tell you the truth about everything.
Yeah. You find out as you go.
Right. And that's the story as a new homeowner. People are like, well, I had this and I learned.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things is until you own a home and some of the things you don't know that people have to deal with on a regular basis and the upkeep and maintenance of their home. And it can get very expensive and it can get very underhanded really quick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of plumbers that'll come out and not tell you there's a trip charge. And then they'll show up and be like, hey, it's $75.
Mm-hmm.
Or an electrician or an HVAC guy. You really got to do your due diligence to make sure that the people coming out to your home nowadays are truly people that you can trust.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, in this day and age, it's very easy for people to hide behind the digital persona of a company that may not even be real or real to the point that you think it is.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing with us is you call us, you talk to us. When we send out a technician, it's our technician. When you pay, you're processing it through us. It doesn't go somewhere else to other people. There's no other call centers. It's all here. It's all Family Christian Doors. And that's one thing I pride ourselves in is we don't rely on anybody but ourselves to finish what we're doing. So that customer interacts with us all the way through the process.
I'll say from working here, integrity is so important to us as a company. And that's also why we don't charge a service fee for us to go out to customers' homes is because we're not just going out there so we can get your money. We want you to know, we're coming out here to see first how we can best serve you, go over everything with you while we're on site at no charge to you, and at that point, you decide if you'd like to proceed. We also don't dangle it over your head if you decide not to in that very moment.
Right.
We understand people deal with financial things on a daily basis. We are one of you. We're somebody at home that's dealing with our own lives. So if you're not able to get something repaired right off the bat, we get it.
Or if you want a second opinion.
Exactly. We get that too. But that is why we don't charge is because we want to gain that trust right off the bat. First of all, you've invited us to your home to see what we can do for you, and we've gotten the opportunity to form some kind of a relationship with you. So in the long run, if you are ready or if you need something, give us a call, and we're going to give you that same service you got the first time around.
100%.
And so I want to touch base because we've kind of discussed it in each conversation we've had, and you mentioned it briefly, but the leadership that we have here at Family Christian Doors, leadership isn't taken lightly here. And that's one thing that I talked to Brandon about and also touch base with Chad about it. The leaders that we have in this company aren't like any leaders that I've experienced in the past, at any other company. And they're really real people who see you for who you are, who value you. And I just wanted you to touch base a bit on the leadership and how you've grown. And since being here, what areas have you grown and in what ways has the leadership here maybe helped you grow in that way?
Yeah, that's a good question. One of the big things about that is I've only been in leadership roles before this position a few other times.
Yeah.
And in those positions, I wasn't really in charge of multiple people, technicians, customers. It just wasn't the position I was in. When I came here, and I've acquired those skills based on learning from other people. And that's your biggest point is I had to learn from someone.
Yeah.
This wasn't a gift. I had to earn it. I had to work for it. But I also had to pay attention and absorb information from people who knew more than me.
Mm-hmm.
And so people like Chad, Mr. Hendricks, even just our customers.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say that there's something to learn new every single day. And when we have the ability to pass that knowledge on to someone else, whether that's an interaction you have with a customer that you learned from, and you tell your coworker next to you, hey, this is a situation I was in, and they'll hear it. Mm-hmm. This is how it got resolved. They learn from that. Now they know when they run into a situation like that, how to resolve it in a manner that is, one, within our company standards and what we put forward as our values.
Yeah.
And having that and having people learn from and pass those skills down to each time are very important to making sure that we continue to operate how we need to operate for our customers.
Yeah, 100%. I can say here, when we talk about leadership, none of us that have excelled or changed positions would have gotten to where we are without that. And so you said that you had to watch, and that's the same thing that I did. I came in and I watched you, I watched Mr. Hendricks and the other owners of the company, and they really set the tone for what's expected at Family
Right.
Christian Doors, and it's not unrealistic.
No.
You come to a place, you serve the best you can, you do the best you can.
Right.
And it'll reflect in the long run. This is a place that allows you to morph into something that you weren't before you got here.
Right.
It changes you, in a good way, and to have leaders that you can look up to and trust that you can look up to them in that way and be guided in the right direction and not misled is something also really uncommon in the workplace, and I say it time and time again, is that I'm really grateful to be in a place where the word family in the company isn't just in the name. Like, we are family around here. We might not always see eye to eye, we might have disagreements, but we work through it, and we grow in each circumstance, and we pride ourselves on the care that we have, not just for each other, but for the people that we go out and serve. It reflects over to them as well.
Right. And I believe the biggest part of that is just having respect for one another.
Yeah.
Listening, having patience, truly having respect for one another. That doesn't just help with the people in here. That helps people facilitate a way to learn. Having an environment where they don't feel like if you ask a question, you're going to be shouted down, or that it's not going to be taken into consideration. That was the biggest thing here. Is I was taught that if you have an idea, if you have something that you think is going to contribute positively to either a customer's experience, to the company, or to just the betterment of your fellow coworker on a daily basis, we want to hear it.
Yeah.
And we're going to take it into consideration. And if it's something we can implement, we're going to implement it. Because if we don't listen to our people, and we can't take constructive criticism or just pointers to help us be better, then we're failing at the number one thing, which is listening.
Yeah. 100%. So, kind of getting off of work, but when you're not here, what are some things that you are out doing? What does your life look like when you're not being the manager of operations?
Well, obviously I have a beautiful wife and son, so I try to spend as much time as I can with them, because I value a lot of time with them. Obviously, I love to cook.
Yes.
So that's one of my favorite things.
And he cooks well.
And just in general, I like the outdoors, and experiencing new food. So one of the biggest things is I like to go to the food expos or things they have where it's like cultural things. It'll be like a Thai food street day or whatever it is in Dallas. We try to go to those as much as we can. Just one, for me to experience it, but two, also to pass those experiences down to my son, and learn that people come from all different places, all different backgrounds, and we all have different things that connect us. But one thing we always all do is eat.
Yeah, so. We all eat. That's 100% true. Absolutely.
So if there's one way to connect with people, it's through food, but also through words, and that's one thing I try to pride him on is just having good communication skills and being able to speak to people is the biggest thing.
Yeah. So to close us out, if you could let the people listening know anything about us before we come out to their homes, what would it be?
It would be to keep in mind that we will always treat you with respect. We will always make sure that we come out and give you a professional opinion on what's going on. We will never charge a trip fee or service call to do that. And we hope that our ethics and our transparency make it to the customer in a way that they understand us and they want to do business with us and become part of our family. So
absolutely. Well, Vinny, I won't take too much more of your time, but I appreciate you coming on today to talk with me, and look forward to maybe you being back on again soon. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.